Robert Bever believed that society was useless and wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. His younger brother, Michael Bever, looked up to Robert and was willing to follow with whatever he had planned. This is Monsters.
I feel like this is gonna be...
In this season of the podcast, I'm covering cases of parricide. That's the act of a child killing their parents. Some historical examples of parricide are Lizzie Borden, who killed her parents with an axe, and Lyle and Eric Menendez, who shot their parents so many times with a shotgun they were unrecognizable. Unfortunately, some of the cases of parricide don't only include just the parents. The term familicide is used to describe someone who kills their entire family. Used most commonly with family annihilators like Chris Watts or Michael Jones Jr., it also applies to kids who kill their parents and siblings. Paul Mones, an Oregon-based attorney who has worked on parricide cases around the United States, said that between 1 and 2% of homicides in the country involve children killing their parents. The most common cases are of sons who kill their fathers. There's not a lot of information available about the Bever family. Neighbors say that the family of 9 was quiet and reclusive. They lived in a large house in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, about 20 minutes southeast of Tulsa. David and April Bever married in Texas when she was only 15 years old, according to comments she made on her Reddit account. David worked for Samson Resources in the IT department. His coworkers described him as a quiet man who kept to himself. His supervisor, Lisa Wolf, said that he was a nice guy who didn't get involved in office politics, and that was the type of person she liked to work with. The couple went on to have 7 children. At the time of the murders, they were 18-year-old Robert, 16-year-old Michael, 13-year-old Crystal, 12-year-old Daniel, 7-year-old Christopher, 5-year-old Victoria, and 2-year-old Autumn. The youngest was born premature, and April created a nonprofit called Autumn's Hope to raise money to help other people who had children who were born ill or premature. All of the children were homeschooled their entire lives, but none of the homeschooling groups in the area had any interactions with the Bevers.
Jesus Christ.
One of David's previous supervisors even founded the Cornerstone Homeschool Cooperative in Broken Arrow, but she said in an interview that she had never seen them associate with any homeschooling groups. Neighbors said the children only played in their own backyard, and the family seemed to actively stay away from social gatherings in the neighborhood. It seemed that the parents wanted to protect their children from the outside world. It might have something to do with Robert's claim that he had attended preschool outside the home, but he had been molested, which caused his parents to pull him out of the school.
Bro, I feel like... I don't know any of the details of the case at all, but it does... Like, immediately, it triggers, like, every fucking red flag that I have about child abuse. Starting with the father who married the mother at the age of 15 when she was 15 years old, all the way to, like, homeschooling and not letting, children interact with other kids. It does seem like there could be child abuse. I don't know yet. Starting with 7 children. Yeah, that's a lot of kids. That is kind of weird, but still. It could just be Oklahoma, you know what I'm saying? There's Reddit too. Parents are on Reddit.
It seemed as though they let that outside world into their home as they had very few restrictions on internet usage. The children were free to use a number of tablets and computers to access whatever they wanted. Now, I don't believe that media such as the internet, movies, music, and video games cause children to become violent, but it's still a place where they can find inspiration for ideas they're already having. Early on, it seemed as though the boys were interested in the same things as other boys their age: Star Wars, sports cars, and the band Linkin Park. Oh, and we can't forget Minecraft. He made 2 vlog videos where he seems like your average goofy teenager.
Salute. Hey everyone, it's me, Cult Empire. In case you didn't know, you found me by accident, or you're expecting someone else. That. Why would you do that? Anyway, this is the second first ever update, which I think is a major improvement. I tried a news report theme last time. That's not very vloggy, is it? So I'm being a little more chillinated, writing stuff, scripting. I'm going to make my first skit soon. Can't show you a sneak preview or it would ruin it. It'll be like a minute long. It's going to be some good stuff. I think it's going to be hilarious. It's going to have a few props in it, which is the only delay. So
what year is this, chat? Like when did this happen? So like where is he? 2007? No, this is like way closer to our time.
I came up with a couple of songs. They aren't parodies though. They're some intense gangster rap type stuff I came up with when I was listening to someone's mixtape.
2013. There it is. The video is right here. 2013. Is when he documented this. Yeah, I don't know why people were saying 2007 when I don't even know if Minecraft was out at that point.
About that, yeah. I had a parody song, but it's probably offensive, so I'm never going to upload it. Now I'm having to write a whole new parody song. You can't explain that. Man! Write a song. Just writing a song. I got that creativity juices flowing. Alright, I also found out that Minecraft is compatible with Windows 8. I heard. I don't know how.
I mean, he strikes me as a kid who is highly intelligent. Like, it doesn't even seem all that weird. Decent posture in front of the camera. Like,
how reliable that is, but it turns out it's just my laptop is a Compaq I've had for about 4 years, and its graphics drivers are hopelessly outdated. So, speaking of hopelessly outdated, Minecraft 0.6.0 turned out to be a bomb in a bad way. Everyone knows that by now. But my brother lost his Ultimate Survival World because of the 0.6.0 Pocket Edition world saving glitch. It was awesome. The whole world had been mined out. It was a full-blown city with streets and neighborhoods and a big city center with skyscrapers and hot dog vendors and mimes and pollution. Or maybe I was just cleaning out my closet. The pollution fumes went to my head.
At some point, Robert became interested in murder and started looking at stories about famous serial killers and mass shooters.
Okay, dude, okay, this makes me feel like we should stop watching murder documentaries, dude. Okay. That literally, I feel like that's kind of irresponsible for a channel who literally makes murder documentaries to say, like, letting people arrive at a conclusion like that, even on accident.
Michael looked up to his older brother, and the two shared everything, even their thoughts about committing mass murder. The pair fed off each other, reading stories about Ted Bundy and Richard Ramirez. They idolized school shooters and started talking about wanting to be famous and killing more people than the other mass shooters.
They idolized school shooters and they were homeschooled. This is literally, oh my God. America is so insane that even homeschool has school shooters, dude. What the fuck?
Also reported that they had talked about making a video of their family's murder and posting it to YouTube at a later date. They started watching the movie Rampage. No, not the Dwayne Johnson movie, an independent movie released straight to video in 2009. It takes place in a fictional town in Oregon where a 21-year-old man who hates society believes that he needs to kill as many people as he can to reduce the population and bring balance back to society. He crafts a set of full-body armor and heads into town with an arsenal of weapons.
Isn't this kind of, I mean, it's not a real story, but like something similar to this happened in California, or no? With an automatic weapon and like fully kitted out armor. It was a bank heist though, I think. Yeah, they robbed a bank in Los Angeles, yeah. Okay, yeah, the North Hollywood bank robbery, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, no, this is crazy. I mean, I don't know why he's kind of making it seem like a movie could get someone motivated to do such an act. It's a ridiculous take, like top of the hour ad breaks. turn people into loving ads. You know what I mean? When we all know that that's not how it works. I'm not lying. My childhood best friend did the Hollywood bank robbery. What the fuck?
He bombs the police station and then kills as many people as he can. The worst part about the movie, spoiler alert, just in case you want to watch it.
This isn't real.
Trust me, you don't want to watch it. Is that he gets away with it. He somehow frames his only friend, and at the end of the movie, he takes off to go commit another killing spree somewhere else. The movie...
Yeah, the robbery, the North Hollywood robbery is literally the reason why automatic weapons were banned.
Became a source of inspiration and helped the two cultivate their ultimate plan. They didn't just want to become famous for mass murder. They wanted to be famous for having killed the most people. They wanted to travel across the country, racking up a kill count in the hundreds.
Did you guys talk about being on the news and getting to see each other on TV and stuff?
Yeah.
What kind of things did you say and talk about?
Mostly about how we were planning on killing more people.
Yeah.
And we become famous, we get on Wikipedia lists.
Oh, okay.
People.
That'd be a big deal, yeah. I mean, do you think they might even make a movie or something, or a TV show?
I don't know about a movie or TV show, but...
Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah, I got the documentaries and stuff. He just wanted to be famous.
What did you want?
Me?
You keep talking about what he wanted. What did you want?
No, I just wanted to get my winners pool. Get a job.
But I mean, your big brother's telling you he wants to be famous, and you guys are making these plans. Surely you want some of that fame too, right?
Yeah, I do want to do it with him because, like, he's going to do it no matter what. He says if I don't do it with him, they'll just kill me too.
They specifically wanted a Wikipedia page about themselves. Ironically, if you search for them on Wikipedia, you won't find any articles specifically about them. What you will find is an article titled Broken Arrow Killings, which describes the event, but doesn't really focus on Robert and Michael. I don't know if that was on purpose, but I like that it's a subtle slap in their faces. Robert had a job working for Micah Tech, which was a Christian call center where people could call in and the person working on the phone would pray with them.
Oh my God.
This gave him money to start funding their plans. He started ordering parts to put together a full set of body armor for both himself and Michael. Both boys began collecting knives, something that Crystal had told her parents she was uncomfortable with. They brushed it off as normal boy behavior and didn't intervene in the boy's hobby. They were also aware that he bought a bulletproof vest, but didn't seem to think that was unusual.
How long have you had the body armor?
Fucking Oklahoma, by the way. Like, literally. That's half of this is just Oklahoma. Toxic masculinity, assumption that, like, of course boys are gonna have, like, violent behavior and, like, will go purchase, like, a bunch of murder weapons, stuff like that. Like, if they're not hunting regularly and have no other use for the knives, then it's kind of suspicious. How do you homeschool your children and aren't aware that they're you know, going crazy? A gun would be easier to explain than a bulletproof vest. Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's like there's a lot of kids that want to be tactical, right?
Body armor? Robert's had his probably since it started ago, and we've been buying it. Well, he's been buying it.
And was it shipped to the house?
Yeah.
Do your parents know? I mean, did they know it?
They knew he had bulletproof vests. They always thought that was a little loud, but they never said anything about it.
Did he have anything else like the gear that the guys wear, helmets or goggles or gloves?
He had a soft Kevlar vest, a heavy, I don't know, it's like a metal plated vest, level 3A and a level 3A. He had a helmet, bulletproof helmet, a bulletproof DEA mask, and Legos.
Wow.
Also like like knife-proof
arm thing.
Yeah, knife and bullet level.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
and then the body armor that you had, what was it like?
It was almost identical.
Okay.
It's just a couple different, different models and stuff.
And where is your body armor now?
All my vests and my helmets, it was laying in the woods. The dog pulled it off of me.
Oh,
I was wearing it.
Oh, you were wearing it?
Yeah, I was wearing the sort of vest and the plate coat.
Okay.
So they took that, and the rest of my body armor is still in the closet.
Okay.
What their parents didn't realize was that Robert was also purchasing guns and ammunition. Once he turned 18, he realized that he was able to purchase guns, and the two began planning.
Tell me more about making plans and what you guys talked about.
Making plans, we plotted every night, and I started realizing we were actually going to do this on the second night. And so I started getting ready.
When was that? You second night? What do you mean?
July 1st.
Okay.
Because we started June 30th.
That's when you...
Again, normal Oklahoma behavior to be able to purchase weapons, you know, just can't purchase beer, can purchase weapons. Very normal, very cool stuff.
You started making the plan?
Yeah, that's when we found out you could buy guns legally.
I see. Did you guys make drawings or write things down? Or
I think he had a journal. The basic ideas that he just down. I think it's under his bed.
Under his
I haven't
bed?
checked out.
Is it like a journal, like a notepad, or like a book?
It's like a blank book.
Okay.
A black book. I think it's like a little case. Or
So you think he wrote stuff in there?
Yeah, I think he was planning in it.
So then the second day, you said that's when you realized that it might actually happen?
Yeah.
What made you realize that?
How serious he was. I mean, he was going through. He started planning on taking all of his money out of his bank and throwing away all his stuff. So
Why did he want to do it?
kill people.
Yeah.
Well, mainly two reasons. I think it's because he just he says he hates everyone. He thinks society is pointless, and so he wanted to kill people.
Now,
And also he wanted to beat the kill amount of other famous people like Columbine and James Egan Holmes.
It sounds like Robert was able to purchase guns online and have them shipped to a gun store where he would be able to pick them up. At some point before the murders, a gun store employee called Robert to let him know that a shotgun and 2 Glock pistols were ready for pickup. He planned to pick them up the day after the murders. Robert then ordered thousands of rounds of ammunition to be delivered to their house. Now, you may be asking, how are his parents not going to notice thousands of rounds of ammunition showing up at their home? Well, that was the beginning of the plan. They were going to murder their family and use the house to receive the ammo, then steal the family's GMC Yukon and go on their road trip.
I moved to Italy from here, and I don't know if that was a good decision. What do you mean? You moved away from America to Italy, and you don't know if it was a good decision? While we're watching a fucking video about how easy it is to purchase guns in Oklahoma? No, I think you're doing all right, probably. Okay.
Killing.
Tell me what plans you started making and coming up with.
Well, originally, I think Kant stayed throughout the month. So we wanted to kill everyone at the house first.
Okay.
And then wait for all the packages to show up over the weekend. And then we take the Yukon and we get out of our state with the guns and start rampaging.
Did you know where you were going to drive to?
Towards Washington.
Washington State or D.C.?
Washington State. Washington State.
Why would you go to Washington State?
Just kind of the direction.
And you said Yukon. Do your parents have a Yukon? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
okay.
It's a large Yukon XL.
Does Robert have a driver's license?
He has a loaner's board.
Okay. So he would be able to drive it. Can you drive if you had to?
No, I couldn't.
This kid doesn't even know how to drive a car, and he's planning on traveling across the country to commit mass murder. They actually picked the date they would murder their family based on when the ammo would arrive at their house.
You picked a date, you said?
Yeah, which was yesterday night. That was the date.
Did you pick a time and everything?
Yep, midnight when most everyone was in bed except for Mom.
So how did you guys know? He just came and got you, or you got him, or what did you guys do?
We were hanging out in our bedroom waiting.
Okay, and so...
How did you pick the date?
It revolved around the packages and stuff that we have. Because, all the ammunition, he didn't want them to see that. So we killed him the day before the ammunition got out, the day after we moved.
Robert had been taking money out of the bank and putting it away in their room. He had a notebook under his bed where he made notes about the plan. They sat down and specifically plotted out exactly how they were going to kill each family member one by one. The plan was to wait until the whole family was asleep the night before the ammo was to be delivered. Then Michael was going to use a small crossbow to quietly shoot his father in the head. Then they were going to go room by room and kill the other members of their family with a knife.
So who were you supposed to kill?
I was supposed to take my pistol crossbow. He was supposed to shank his son. She was supposed to die quietly. Yeah, she was going to be the first one, she was. And then Robert would go in, slit Mom's field, push her over with him. We both go in and crawl and get to it.
Because it was supposed to be like quiet.
Yeah, it was supposed to be over there. And then I would go upstairs and shoot David, Dad, and the guy with my pistol crossbow, which would kill him. And then Robert would go over and kill him.
Okay.
So did you use your crossbow at all?
No. The only time I ever heard anybody.
I got it. Yeah, you made a mistake. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. You already made a mistake by moving to Oklahoma from Italy. But and then you made another mistake in the chat. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Which my stabs Christopher in the neck.
Did Robert use your crossbow?
No, it's just saying. Sorry.
Where is your crossbow?
I think it's on my bed still, unless they collected it.
So did you have it out ready to go, and then it just kind of didn't go as planned?
Yeah, no, nothing was planned.
Yeah.
It seems as though they believed that stabbing someone would instantly kill them. Michael wrote in his confession, quote, "The plan was first at around 12 a.m. to
Bro,
put..."
he can't even write properly, dude.
On our gear, and Robert would kill April Bever, and then I would kill Crystal and Victoria. Then go upstairs and both kill David Bever and the baby. Then go downstairs and Robert would kill Daniel and Chris. Then wait a couple of days and leave the state and begin the spree." End quote. Sometime between 11 and 11:30 on the night of July 22nd, 2015, Michael and Robert were in the bedroom that they shared and decided that now was the time to put their plan in motion.
Bro, this kid had no life experience, and the only contact that he had with the outside world was video games and the internet. I think that's probably why he thought people die by like one knife hit, like, because he probably played Call of Duty, you know what I mean? That, of course, doesn't mean that like video games cause violence or anything like that. But if the only outside world interaction that you have is like uncontrolled internet access and video games, then you're gonna develop a very weird understanding of how everything works, especially if you're also simultaneously being homeschooled and they're not even letting you around other children.
According to Michael's account, he went out into the living room and told his sister, Crystal, that he wanted to show her something on his computer. As she came into the room and stood by Michael's desk, Robert attacked.
So she sat down at your desk, and he slit her throat, you said?
Well, she was standing at my desk and came up behind, and so...
I don't mean to like ignorantly give the game away, but I heard your name gets passed around in chat rooms so they can try and bait you often. Don't react, maybe. I don't know. What chat rooms? Let me know.
With you, and then she fell down screaming.
And then he stabbed her some more? When he was stabbing her some more, where was he stabbing her?
Her neck.
Oh, her neck.
Her neck and her stomach.
Stomach, okay.
And then my mom came in, and she started yelling, "Call the police, get Dad." And then he came over and started attacking her. He actually got up and ran out the front door.
Wow.
And once Mom was on the ground, he got up and started chasing after her.
And what were you doing? Did you come out in the hallway?
According to Crystal, she had gone into their bedroom on her own to tell both of them that their mother wanted them to do the dishes. When she went in their room, she saw them putting on body armor and that they had an assortment of knives laid out on the bed. She heard Michael say, quote, "Should we do it right now?" End quote. To which Robert replied, quote, "Yes." End quote. Michael asked Crystal to look at something on his computer, and when she did, Robert came up behind her and slit her throat. Robert was under the impression that slitting her throat would kill her quickly and silently, but a lifetime of action movies had lied to him, and Crystal began screaming. The screams from Crystal alerted their mother, and when Robert turned his attention to her, Crystal was able to run out of the room. The girl was able to get out of the house and collapsed in the driveway. April began screaming for someone to call the police before Robert began stabbing her with the same knife and eventually pushed her into the kitchen where he continued stabbing her in the neck. At this point, the house erupted into chaos. After Robert was finished with his mother, he went out the front door, grabbed Crystal, and dragged her back onto the front porch.
What was his name? What was that chatter's name? What was that chatter's name? Don't fucking hide him. You filter curb.
He then went to find the younger kids and told Michael to bring Crystal back inside. Michael dragged his sister back into the house and left her lying in the entryway. He must have locked the door because authorities said it was locked when they arrived at the scene. Christopher had locked himself into the bathroom with their sister, Victoria. Michael went up to the door and pretended to be trying to hide from Robert, telling them that they needed to let him in. When Christopher opened the door, Michael went in and stabbed the two to death. Daniel had locked himself in their father's office, which was right next to the bathroom. He had managed to get Michael's cell phone and called 911 at 11:32 p.m.
Broken 911. Broken Arrow 911. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, where are you at?
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma 7411.
What address?
709 Magnolia Court.
Okay. Are you the only one there?
No, my brother's attacking my family.
Your dad is attacking your family?
No, my brother.
Okay, who's attacking your family?
What?
Who's attacking your family?
Yes.
Who is it?
Okay, so we learned that dispatchers don't do this to be fucking stupid or annoying. They do this so they keep you... No, the dispatchers do this on purpose so they keep you on the line. One, to keep you hyper-focused on them rather than their surroundings and not fucking freak out and do something bad. And two, so that they can actually keep them on the line to triangulate their location. I originally always thought dispatchers were so fucking stupid and like literally just constantly were just like, I don't know what you're saying. Turns out it's like deliberate. I also still don't understand why they do it like this though, instead of just like, you know, calming them down or maybe just like talking about other stuff. I don't fucking know. Like, I feel like there's a better way. I feel like there's a better way to do this rather than just like, I don't know. Wait, who's attacking your family? Who's attacking your family? Who's attacking your family?
Do they?
Like what? How is the weather? Are you in a safe location right now? Is it possible for you to get to a safe location right now? But I get that could be a legal hurdle too, though, probably, because that could be seen as like giving advice. But I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that you could definitely ask. How many people are there? How many people are in the house? Are you injured? Instead of just like asking the same question over and over again. How does that help?
Are you there?
Hello?
Hi, what's going on there? What's going on there? Hello? Hello?
Not applause.
Michael used the same ruse to get Daniel to open the door, and when he did, he took the phone from him and smashed it. Michael told Robert, quote, "He's all yours," end quote. Robert stabbed Daniel multiple times, and when Robert let him go, he ran away but collapsed in the living room where he died. David was asleep upstairs, and when he was finally awoken by the commotion, he came downstairs. When he saw the horror that was going on in the home, he charged Robert. Unfortunately, Robert managed to stab his father in the chest as he came at him, and David fell to the floor. Robert continued stabbing his father to death. Almost as soon as they had killed everyone, or so they believed, there was a knock at the front door. They didn't know who it was and thought it might be a neighbor, so they grabbed a backpack and fled out the back door. They ran through some woods to a creek behind their house. When police arrived on the scene, they knocked on the door, and when they heard a faint voice inside saying, "Help me," Detective Brett Burton kicked in the door and they found Michael Bever lying in the entryway in a pool of blood. They picked her up and took her out where paramedics were already on the scene. The city of Broken Arrow has about 100,000 residents and is the fourth largest city in the state. It only has a murder happen once every couple of years, so when
Above ground pools.
something like this happens, they call out everyone to the scene. All detectives, canine units, firefighters, paramedics, all hands on deck. Crystal made it to the paramedics, who had no idea how she was still alive, but she was, so they got her stabilized into the hospital where she was rushed into surgery. Despite multiple stab wounds, a slit throat, and excessive blood loss, Crystal survived the attack. 52-year-old David had 28 stab wounds to his back, neck, chest, and abdomen. 44-year-old April had 48 stab wounds to her neck, face, arms, chest, and abdomen. 12-year-old Daniel had 21 stab wounds to his back, neck, head, and chest. 7-year-old Christopher had 21 stab wounds to his back, chest, head, and neck. 5-year-old Victoria had 23 stab wounds to her back, neck, chest, face, and abdomen. The Broken Arrow police walked into the scene of a horror movie. Blood was smeared everywhere, and they didn't know if the attackers were still in the house. They found both April and Daniel first, and since they didn't know if they were still alive or not, they carried them both out of the house to the paramedics. They were pronounced dead at the scene. They turned a corner and found David lying on the floor. They said they could tell that he was dead, so they continued to the back of the house, where they found a locked bathroom door. Normally, a locked door at a scene like this means there's a suspect who has barricaded himself in the room. Due to what they were finding at the scene, they didn't want to take the chance on there being someone in there that needed help, and Officer Walker kicked in the door. Inside, they found the bodies of Christopher and Victoria, both stabbed to death and left in a pool of blood on the bathroom floor. Crime scene investigator Jackie Smithson said it was the worst thing he had ever seen. Police made their way upstairs and cleared the rooms one by one. When they got to the last room, they found a baby girl lying in her crib, not moving. When they checked on her, they found that she had been unharmed. 2-year-old Autumn had been fast asleep during the entire incident. Robert and Michael had forgotten about her before they fled the house, and fortunately didn't have time to discover her and complete their plan, which is good because according to court documents, their plan was to cut off her head. After the house was cleared, police discovered the back door was ajar and believed that their suspects must have fled out the back. Using canine units to track their scent, Robert and Michael were quickly discovered hiding in some brush near the creek. When police commanded them to show their hands and come out, Robert complied right away, but Michael hesitated. Officers released the dog, who instantly grabbed Michael by the shoulder, prompting him to come out of the bushes. He can be seen in the arrest photos with a torn shirt and bite marks on his shoulder. Robert was still wearing his body armor, but Michael had taken his off and it was lying on the ground between their house and where they were found. When the brothers were arrested, they were photographed for evidence and Michael has a vacant look on his face, like he did.
I'll show you that part at least. There's blood. There's a little bit of blood. I just want to make sure that you see or dude, how the fuck do you do this to your own family? I mean, there's got to be a look. I mean, there's definitely, look, I'm not victim blaming, but given how young these kids are, given how young they were when they engaged in these sorts of actions, like, and how gruesome the fucking murders are, it's a little bit different than what the Asian girl had done to her parents and like with her boyfriend. And it feels like there was a little bit more abuse or something that got them to operate this way. Jennifer Pan, yeah. They didn't really talk about this, but like, I mean, it could be pure psychopathy, but anyway.
He didn't really care one way or the other that he just murdered his family. Robert, on the other hand, actually looks quite happy. He has a smirk on his face like he just passed a test. As police went to put them in separate patrol cars, Robert looked over at Michael and said, quote, "It's been a pleasure. I'm proud of what I've done." End quote. On the night of the murders, a neighbor, Julie Wallace, informed police that the family had a dog. Their Dachshund Chihuahua mix wasn't found until later the following afternoon, and she was given to Julie to care for. Julie said that the dog, who she has since renamed Sally, is still frightened anytime they're screaming on the television. Back at the police station, both Robert and Michael talk openly about their plans. For reasons I couldn't find, Robert's interrogation was sealed, but Michael's remained available. While talking to detectives...
Oh yeah, no, they didn't want to just kill their own family. They wanted to kill a bunch of people. I'm saying that, like, you don't become a psychopathic mass murderer without, like, some kind of neglect or abuse, usually. Like, there has to be a little bit more than just, like there has to be something that had to have been a trigger, you know?
Detective Burton, he tried to downplay his involvement in the murders. His story involves Robert running around the house stabbing everyone with himself just standing by. He disabled the home alarm when Crystal went out the front door and helped bring her back into the house. Eventually, he admits to stabbing Christopher once, but tries to say that Robert did everything else and he only participated because Robert said he would kill him if he didn't.
So everybody that you killed and every single stab wound that you inflicted, we're going to know about. And this is your last chance to just kind of let us know, to be honest.
Why did Charlie Watts kill his family then? There's a motive there. There's a motive here too, which is fame, which is not the same as a motive for Charlie Watts, who wanted to get away from his family with his and start a new life. Or a motive for Jennifer Pan was like collecting life insurance money, or Charlie Watts, sorry, Chris Watts. There was I thought the person said Charlie Watts, so I was just reading off what he was saying. Regardless. Chat, fucking calm down. I misspoke, man. Jesus Christ, what the fuck's going on, dude? Calm down, dude. Yeah, I misspeak a lot. It's... Holy fuck, dude. So weird.
The man up and tell us exactly what you did and start making it right.
I hit Christopher. I not stabbed Victoria with Daniel.
You did not stab Victoria.
I tried to stab her.
You stabbed him off.
When she was walking away, I tried to go for a neck, but, you know.
Is that when you cut yourself then?
Yeah, I think after that.
Where did you stab her?
I tried to go from behind it.
Did you cut her?
I think so, yeah.
This doesn't seem like something you have to think about. I know you're still kind of dealing with it. And I wasn't there, I wasn't the one doing it, but you don't have to think about it. You know what you did. So you cut her neck, you stabbed Christopher in the neck. How many times did you stab Christopher?
2 or 3, I think.
And who else did you stab?
Besides Mom.
Because here's the thing, everybody's been stabbed, and you both had knives, and we know you both stabbed everybody. So you guys are kind of at the same level, and so now it's who's going to be honest and make this right, and who's a liar. Okay, which one do you want to be?
I'm not a liar.
Okay, so you're a man of your word?
Yes.
Okay.
Now he claims he stabbed Christopher 2 or 3 times. Unfortunately for Michael, Robert's story doesn't match. While they talk to Robert, he is proud of the people he killed. He wants credit for all of his evil deeds, so why would he give Michael credit for killing people if he hadn't actually killed them? Both of the brothers were charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of assault and battery with a deadly weapon. Michael's defense lawyer, Rob Nye.
Dude, the only thing that stopped these kids from killing more was the fact that their guns had not arrived. Like, if their guns had arrived, instead of murdering their own family, they would have waited to, like, probably go somewhere fucking crowded and use said weapons. That's crazy. Oh.
Filed a motion to try their client as a juvenile, but Oklahoma state law says that 15 to 17-year-olds
Or
are to
not
be
the
tried.
guns, sorry, the bullets had not arrived. The little brother called the police, he stopped them. Well, that too, but I'm saying that, like, if their bullets had arrived, they probably would not have, if their bullets had arrived at the time and they had weapons, they could have changed their strategy, and instead of like immediately going off and murdering their fucking families, like they could have tried to maximize the amount of kills.
As an adult if they're charged with first-degree murder. His motion was denied. On June 17, 2016, while both of the brothers were being held in the jail medical unit, segregated from each other, Robert tried to commit suicide. He had tied a sheet around his neck, with the other end tied to his bed.
I guess their strategy was to kill their family before the bullets arrived, because the bullets arriving was going to cause suspicion in the family. I get that. I'm saying, like, I'm glad that they were, too stupid to not wait for the bullets.
Tried to hang himself, but was unsuccessful. Since Robert was 18 at the time of the murders, he was eligible for the death penalty. In an effort to save Crystal from having to testify in court, on September 7th, District Attorney Steve Kunzweiler offered Robert a deal to take the death penalty off the table if he pleaded guilty to all counts. Robert took the deal and was given 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole to be served consecutively, plus another life term. The state assumed that Michael would also take a deal, especially since he tended to follow the lead of his older brother, but he didn't. Michael pleaded not guilty and brought the case to trial. At the trial, Robert testified for the defense, and his story.
The defense attorney stated that David Bever was physically and verbally abusive towards his children, according to Crystal Bever's testimony. Robert Bever claimed that both of his parents were hateful and abusive to him and all of his siblings. He said his parents would often talk about people they hated and would refer to the biblical apocalypse as a retribution thing for everything they hated about the world. Most sane evangelical family in Oklahoma, it feels like.
Story did not match what he said during his interrogation. He claimed that after he stabbed Crystal in the neck, Michael turned around and said, quote, "Robert, what are you doing?" End quote. He told the jury that Michael had only convinced the younger children to open the locked doors, but never stabbed anyone. Michael's knife had his own blood on the handle. He said in his interrogation that he thinks he cut himself when he stabbed his mother. The knife also had blood from his mother and his father. Michael had claimed that Robert had killed their mother, which gave Crystal time to run away, but according to testimony from Crystal, Robert immediately ran after her and caught her in the driveway, and Michael is the one who killed April. Both Robert and Crystal testified that there was physical abuse in the house. Robert described his father yelling at Michael about his speech impediment. He claimed that one time, out of frustration for Michael's stutter, he shook the boy and yelled, quote, "Stop and don't talk until you can speak clearly," end quote. He said there were occasions where David would punch or kick Michael. Crystal said that David threw the kids across the room in the past, and one time overheard her parents talking about being too rough on Robert and Michael when they were younger.
So the reason why I said there had to have been at least some kind of abuse, and I was right, is because oftentimes, like, kids who are psychopathic don't fully manifest into, like those tendencies or don't fully develop into like exercising those urges that they might have as violent psychopaths do before they get to like an older age, like 25 to 27 is when a lot of people start developing, or rather a lot of people start experiencing the mental health complications that they have. So when you see someone who's like that young, that could have accelerated the process for them. You can't be diagnosed with ASPD/psychopathy until age 18. Before 18, you get diagnosed with conduct disorder usually. They didn't just kill their... I'm not saying they were... Guys. I'm not saying that these kids were looking to avenge their abusers. Like they were looking for vengeance. I'm saying that their abusive parents must have triggered like at least psychopathic behavior in one of the kids. It's an important distinction.
Robert believed that his parents were paranoid and wouldn't let them be around any strangers. They had cameras around the house, but the cameras didn't record. They just allowed David to monitor the house from his phone at all times. On May 10, 2018, Michael Bevers was found guilty of 5 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of assault and battery with a deadly weapon. Michael was scheduled for sentencing on July 24th, where he made a statement saying, quote, "Every minute and every second, I've been thinking about what I could have done different and what kind of life I could have had with my family," end quote. Judge Sharon Holmes put off sentencing until August 9th in order...
It does feel like he was totally just following the lead of his brother, and his brother like was the one who... I mean, it's obvious that the YouTuber wants us to feel that way too, because of the way that he described how different each kid looked when they got arrested, but...
to give herself more time to think about her decision. When August 9th came, the judge sentenced Michael to 5 life sentences with the possibility of parole, plus a 28-year sentence for the attempted murder of Crystal, but the sentences are to be served consecutively, so it's likely he will spend the rest of his life in prison. This sentence went against the jury's recommendation to give Michael a chance at parole after 38 years, and the defense believed it violated state rules against sentencing juveniles to life sentences. Michael's lawyer filed an appeal on the grounds that 5 consecutive...
That doesn't mean he's innocent, boys. He stabbed his fucking baby sisters. Like he participated in the stabbing of his parents and his sisters. Okay, that's not an excuse. I'm not giving any sort of excuse here to either of these kids.
Life sentences, even with parole, is still in fact a life sentence. People under the age of 18 are unable to be sentenced to mandatory life sentences on the grounds that it violates the 8th Amendment's prohibition of cruel and unusual punishment. I would argue that being stabbed to death is cruel and unusual punishment. Why is Michael immune from receiving the same sentence he carried out on his own family? Supreme Court Judge Gary Lumpkin said that children accused of multiple violent crimes should not get a volume discount on the sentence imposed. He said that the decision on consecutive or concurrent is within the discretion granted to trial courts. The Supreme Court ruled 3-2 in favor of upholding the sentence. Michael will spend the rest of his life in prison. The Bever home sat on the market for years, with nobody willing to purchase the heavily stigmatized house. The neighbors worried that the home would continue to be an eyesore on the community and continue to attract looky-loos who wanted to see the house where the Bever family was murdered.
Looky-loos.
On March 18, 2017, the house was destroyed in a fire. Authorities believe it was arson. No shit. But they have no leads as to who may have set the fire. A month after the fire, the city of Broken Arrow raised the funds to purchase the property where the Bever home sat and turn it into a memorial garden.
The park that we have designed, the park department has designed, is a place that brings healing and tranquility. So we hope that eventually the first responders that came to this property, and even maybe years from now, the siblings that survived, could come by here in remembrance of the family members lost and provide some.
Bro, I fucking doubt any of those siblings want to be around.
Some healing for them. I just want you to know that in Broken Arrow,
2 of the siblings survived. The first, I think older sister survived having her throat slit, and then the young baby that was in a crib that they forgot about, luckily.
Oklahoma, we will not let evil overcome good. And I just wanted to finish with a quote that I found that says, good will always prevail over evil, no matter how much evil attempts to break you. More than that, you are never truly in darkness. Sometimes all you need to do is turn on the light. Today in Broken Arrow, we're turning on the light.
This house has been, in more ways than anybody other than the neighbors will know, just, yes, a constant reminder. I'm almost positive that in the future it would be a constant reminder for those surviving victims. We're proud to say, because we maintain a beautiful relationship with the extended family, we have their blessing on this. It is the right thing to do. It's time to turn the light on.
In May of 2018, the home was demolished and the city began work, transforming the property into a garden. The garden was dedicated on March 27, 2019.
As the mayor said, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today to support the city's efforts to help our community heal after obviously a major tragedy that we had back in 2015. I do want to recognize, as I'm sure other members that are going to speak today, to talk more specifically about those that have contributed. But for me, anytime that you can add a park to your community, whether it's a passive park or it's an active park, it's always a really good thing. And what I'm most impressed about this park is the fact that it was a partnership between the public sector and the private sector to help this neighborhood and our community heal from that tragedy back in 2015. I just want to say on behalf of the city staff and also the city council, thank you to everyone that contributed to this park. I think it's going to be something that folks in this neighborhood and the community will be able to enjoy for many years to come.
On July 15, 2019, Robert Bever attempted to attack prison staff with an 8-inch long sharpened instrument. The incident report states that 2 prison staff members were standing in the day room at Joseph Harp Correctional Center in Lexington, Oklahoma. Robert approached them from behind and tried to attack, but one of the officers got him in a bear hug and ordered him to drop the weapon. He complied with that command and the commands to get on the ground. I guess he's learned the hard way that killing isn't so easy when your target isn't an innocent little kid. He was written up and the incident will go in his prison records, but what are they going to do, give him more time? All information about Crystal or Autumn's whereabouts has been sealed for their protection. Hopefully, they're in a safe place and are getting the help and support they need. If you're the victim of domestic abuse, please reach out to someone for help. Please call the National Domestic Abuse Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233, or go to thehotline.org to chat with someone online. The great thing about this website is that, at any time, hitting the escape key twice will instantly take your browser to a Google search page. In the event the abuser is nearby, you can assure that you don't get caught trying to get help. If you're having feelings of harming yourself or someone else, or even just need someone to talk to, please contact your local mental health facility, call 911, or call Mental Health America, who operate the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Be safe. Thanks so much for watching.
Dude, this channel is really good.